Today on the show, I have a bee in my bonnet about playing a bigger game because I think right now, we have an opportunity to actually do more, be more, and have more in our consulting practices. So I'm going to be talking about that on today's episode. Hi, my name's Russell Pearson, and for the last 30 years, I've been working in the spaces of marketing, sales, and promotion, and that's my area of expertise. But certainly for the last 7 years, I've been helping every single year 100 plus consultants build and grow their consulting practices. Now, we do that inside the Forge, which is a really accelerated program. We also do that in the Consulting Guild, which is a very selective program that will only have 100 experts from around the world working together to actually build a really strong network, but also working to become the best in the world, because there are a few moving parts right now that I'm going to discuss throughout this video that may be coming to eat your lunch. And so playing a bigger game is really where it's at. We've got into a really privileged position to be working with our expertise and helping people now on a global basis. So that means we now need to be operating within a global basis, and we have now the opportunity to become the best in the world. So I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about the different aspects we should be looking at and how you can have more in your consulting practice. So the moving parts are, first off, artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is coming to steal our lunch. It doesn't care about our feelings. It doesn't have feelings of its own. So it's going to happen. And not only is it going to happen, it's kind of already here. There are some amazing artificial intelligence models that are already giving people counsel and advice to help them in their lives with whatever problems that they have. And so if we're resting on our laurels, if we're not actually making ourselves indispensable, then artificial intelligence is going to take over. Now, there is a saying that people say, which is no, artificial intelligence is not going to steal our jobs. It's going to be the person who can harness artificial intelligence who's going to steal our jobs. But I want to make a point. It's not just about knowledge. It's not just about having the answers. It's also about the way we work with people, which is the thing that really is going to make us indispensable. How people engage with us, our reputation, whether they know, like, and trust us, whether they enjoy working with us, is a large part of creating a long-term future for ourselves. Knowledge is no longer enough, so how can we get better? Well, the other moving part is globalization. We now have access to be able to work on really a global scale, which means that a real positive is that now we're working against global competitors. Now, there are people out there who say, I don't have competitors, I'm a niche of one, and that's all nice for them to say, but the reality is there are two moving factors on that. Number one is mind share. People can only think about so many things, and so if they're not thinking about you, then they're thinking about someone else who can ideally help them with their problem, whether that be artificial intelligence or another person somewhere around the globe. And the other is wallet share. They only have so much capital, only so much money that they can actually spend. So if we're not getting that, someone else is. So there is actual competition. Now, I think competition's great. Why do I think competition's great? Well, number one, I'm one of 5 boys, Russell, Richard, Robert, Rhett, and Royce, right? So I've always been in that competitive space. 5 boys under the age of 7, whether it be competing for the last chicken bone on the table or competing for the small amount of girls in the little town of Somerville where I grew up, we were always competing. And so I got into that competitive mode and I really enjoy it. I think there is real benefits in competition. And I think that there's benefits in comparison. A lot of people say, don't compare yourself to others. Well, if you want to play a bigger game, if you want to be more in this world, if you want to do more in this world, if you want to have more, then who are you comparing yourself to? There is someone out there in your area of expertise who ideally is helping your particular market who is the best, right? So it is your job right now to find out who that person is and compare yourself. What are they doing that you're not doing? What are you doing that they're not doing? Where's the gap? And you don't have to compete in doing the same thing as them, but you need to identify why they are better, what got them to better, and then at least find ways of closing that gap and then to overtake. Now, your authenticity, the things that actually make you you, are going to enable you to attract probably a slightly different type of market, have better strengths than maybe they have even able to have. So you can leverage those strengths and you can be more. But first, finding someone to compare yourself to who is not just in your local city, but is global, gives you at least a benchmark to know where is the next step. What does world class look like, and how can I get there? Right? So that's a big one. Who are you comparing yourself to on a global stage? The other is about results. So it's all good and well that artificial intelligence tells you what to do, but I know that if you have been consulting for any good period of time, you know that just telling someone what to do does not get them results. How do you go about coaching, guiding, cajoling, bullying, whatever it needs to be to help them do the things they need to do to get the results? That is a large part of playing a bigger game. How can you become better at what you do, not just in better I understand my expertise on a deeper level, though that's important, but better at getting results for people. And getting results for people in a consulting position, whether you're advising, guiding, coaching, doesn't matter, is not about you doing the work for them. Every time you go and do the work for a client because it is easier, faster, or you can achieve better results by doing the work, you are actually becoming a cog in their machine, but then you will remove yourself at some point, which disables them. So we want to enable our clients, and so learning the process of how to enable them, how to enable them to do the things that they need to do to get the result is the game. That's the much bigger game. So yes, you want to work on your area of expertise. Yes, you want to be ideally the best in that space, but it's not, being the best is not just about being the smartest. It's about how do you enable your clients to get results. And finally, the other part of playing a bigger game is really about who are you for, right? If you're on a mission, that is one way for you to actually get up every single day and go, what am I aiming at? Well, what I like to do if I'm going to either focus on my mission statement or I'm going to focus on where I want to go as a consultant and where I can play a bigger game, well, a part of that is who am I serving? Who is it that I want to help get what they want out of this life? And so for me, it's consultants. And if you're a consultant, it is you, right? I'm here for you. And so this challenge that I'm giving you today is very much about understanding that there are all sorts of consultants who are super smart people who have doctorates and masters and deep experience in doing all these great things. But they're resting on that laurels because of all the hard work that they've done. And they're getting to this point, usually a little on in age, and they are deciding that maybe that's enough. What are they going to do next? Well, instead of looking for the thing to retire to, which is the fastest way to the grave that I've ever experienced, my mother used to actually work in nursing homes, and she would tell me that the gap between someone retiring and actually finding themselves in a nursing home was less than 5 years. And so I want to make sure that that doesn't happen to you, whether it's in 20 years, whether it's in 5 years, whether it's in 10 years. I want to make sure that you have something to focus on. And I think it's a really valuable thing to focus on. What are you building for whom? Now, it could be for your family, and absolutely, there's internal motivations and there is external motivations. I said internal? Yes, internal motivations and external motivations. There'll be different people who are motivated internally. Now, some of those people will be building, it could be generational wealth for their families, it could be building a company that their family's going to be taking over. It doesn't even have to be their family, it could be them. They want to build a legacy for themselves, right? Internal motivation. Then you've got these other people who also have that internal motivation, but it's about improving themselves because they're constantly in a competition with themselves. How can they get better? Great motivations, right? But then what are you doing with that? What is it going to, who is it going to benefit? And what does good look like? Creating that measuring stick. Now, for those who have an external motivation, who are you going to help? Are you going to help those who have a specific need, or are you going to help those people who can be more? Right? There's necessities and there's possibilities. We can actually help people be more than they currently are, or we can help them in the problem that they're currently experiencing. I don't mind which one you choose. It comes down to your personal preferences and consulting styles. We're actually going to come out, we've already got it, with a consulting styles framework that you can use to identify where you sit in that matrix that I kind of just said, but didn't visualize for you. I'll visualize that for you later down the track in another episode. But if you are external, who are you doing it for? who is the specific audience. And when I talk about a specific audience, you should be able to say a word or phrase and they should be able to identify with it. An example of where it's not being done well is to say entrepreneur or business owner, right? So right up here on the very loud side, so this is the loud side, this is the quiet side. On the loud side, they identify first with their name. The word that was given to them at birth, their name. If you say their name, they're going to hear it on 100%, right? That's the loudest that they're going to hear. From there, they probably have a trade or a profession, right? That could be an accountant. It could be a lawyer. It could be a blacksmith. I do blacksmithing in my part-time. People ask me what I do when I'm blacksmithing. I make a lot of mistakes. So they could identify as a carpenter or an electrician. That is their trade or professional identity, and that's still very loud. So that's maybe at 90 out of 100. Now, as you work down, they then may come to business owner, then entrepreneur, then SME. No one is identifying as an SME on the first go-round. So you say, oh, this is for us SMEs. They go, oh, am I? Oh, yeah, I guess I am. And so it doesn't break the 1 second rule, right? In fact, it doesn't cut through to them within half a second or 1 second of them reading or hearing the words. They need to go, that's me. And so if you can identify an audience by a that's me type identity, then you can really help a lot of people because you're going to get massive cut through in your voice, in your messaging, which means that you're going to be able to help more people. You're going to be able to have more impact. There is a myth that some people believe, which is that I want to help everybody, and if I go and say that I can help everybody, then I'm going to be able to help more people. But by doing that, we aren't able to name them by identity because everybody is probably one of the quietest of identities because, yes, I'm part of everybody, but that's not me. If you're saying that you work with everybody, it means that your message will not be able to cut through and people can't hear you. You want to make your messaging very specific for a very specific audience, and in doing so, you can help many more of those people. Now, you might not know who that is right now. And so my recommendation is to do some campaigns. I might spend the next 3 months focusing on a niche, a sector, an identity that I can start speaking to, get clients there and decide, is this something I want to commit to for a certain period of time? We're not looking to commit to a life of work with this one identity. You might, because they're ideal for you. I mean, I've already committed 7 years to consultants. I want to go further and I want to do much more work with that. I'm only just getting started. But you might want to just do 2 years and then reassess, right? But start with 3 months. Start doing some work with these people and see if it's what you want to do longer term. Now, the reason I say 3 months is within 3 months, you can do a campaign that doesn't have to be visible. It can actually be sort of below the scene where you're just talking to people, you're networking with people, you're engaging people. You don't need to change your website. You don't need to change your LinkedIn profile is my point. Your LinkedIn profile and your website can just talk about your expertise and the results you get. You don't have to niche down to your who until you made a decision that this is really the group that you want to help. So I think you are, number one, the expert, right? So if you don't believe that you're an expert, that means that you're not ready to trade or offer expertise. If you are ready to trade and offer expertise, then you need to get comfortable with you are the expert. Now, if you are the expert, then we want to get you in front of as many people that you can actually have deep impact and support from getting from here, wherever they are and they're not happy with, to there, the place that they dream and aspire to. If you're going to do that, well, number one, it's time to start playing a bigger game if you want to have more impact. So compare yourself to someone who is way further ahead than you. So who's world class? And if you're number 2 in the world class rankings, that still gives you some space. If you're number 1, if you are already world class, go and have a look at what world class looks like for the specific area you want to improve in. let's say, for instance, that you wanted to improve in productivity, right? I want to become more productive, right? Well, then go and study Formula One teams. If you want to go, or I want to be more creative, all right, well, then go and study how artists do what they do. Use modeling as your example on how to get good. So you might be number one in your area of expertise. Then go, what do I want to improve? And find the number one in that. All right, comparison is a really useful exercise to find the gap and also to find the activities that will get you from here to there. Then we want to make sure that you're focusing on results, not just expertise. How are you helping your clients, enabling your clients to get the outcomes, results, and through the milestones that they want to go through? And finally, who are you for? What are you building? Who is it for? How big is it going to be? You know, start stretching a little bit. Start going outside of your comfort zone. If you've been used to working with, let's say, 10 clients a year, how could you help 20? How could you help 50? How could you help 100? You know, the 10x model, and there's a lot of different people talking about 10xing your business, your life, all these different things. You can look that up if you want to play a bigger game. 10xing goals, because sometimes it's a lot easier to go 10 times the size than it is to go 2 times the size, because 2 times the size is usually about doing twice the amount of work. If you want to go 10x the size, it's about doing different work. And so these are the different areas that you can look at if you want to play a bigger game. But what I want to know from you is, do you want to play a bigger game? Do you want me to provide you resources to enable you to play a bigger game? Because I want to be here for those consultants, those with expertise, those who are here to make an impact on the world and to help those people around them. I want to help those people. So if you're one of those people, raise your hand. Let me help you take the next steps and actually become all that you can be. And I know I sounded like a military aide when I said that just now, but you absolutely can. You are already the 1% within your area of expertise compared to the rest of the world. But between 1% and 100, so between 99% and 100 is about 1,000 degrees of improvement. Right? You can start that journey. It becomes such a rewarding process when you can really start to help people at a capacity that you have never helped people before. My name is Russell Pearson. This is episode number 101 of the Your Consulting Business podcast. If you've got any questions, reach out to me. You can go to russellpearsonprograms.com for free resources. We've got a new resource there that you might want to download absolutely for free. Until next time, stay passionate, and I will catch you on the next one. Bye for now.